it's so much better than most people's that everybody who fights him doesn't understand what he can do until he does it. He just whips.
Fast.
Ryan Garcia just dropped training footage that has the entire boxing world losing their minds. We're talking about hand speed that looks superhuman, defense that's tighter than a bank vault, and conditioning that makes his previous camps look like vacation time. But here's what nobody's talking about. This isn't just improved training footage. This is a fighter who knows his entire career is on the line, and the pressure is creating something we've never seen before from King Rai. The Mario Barrios fight isn't just another bout. It's Garcia's last chance to prove he belongs in the conversation with elite welterweights, and these training clips are either showing us a reborn champion or the most elaborate smoke and mirrors campaign in recent boxing history.
Powerful distance management, angles that it comes from, it comes up, it comes around, it just hits you faster than you know it's supposed to get there. It's so much quicker and has so much pop on it. It's so dangerous. And like he fought Devin Haney, who is one of the best pure boxers in the sport. He's so good. But he just didn't have the understanding yet.
A guy that's confident, he's a guy that's a world champion. He's a guy who throws a lot of punches. He's a guy who's younger, who's active, you know?
Ryan is a brilliant fighter. I'm not saying that he's a bad fighter or anything, but he's a brilliant fighter. And I mean, probably got one of the best left hooks in boxing history.
So would you be yelling, throw the hook?
I think I would be, that's his bread and butter, so that's what he needs to do.
You like the horse shirt? Yeah, I like to feel like my punch, because I could deliver it where I want it, to dig in there. But with Campbell, I was like, all right, I just gotta do it.
Yeah, because you're right, you can feel.
But wait, it gets absolutely wild when you look at what's really happening behind the scenes. Oscar de la Hoya just showed up at Garcia's training camp, and if you know anything about their history, you know this is massive. These two have been through more drama than a reality TV show, public feuds, contract disputes, social media wars that got so ugly it made headlines for weeks. De la Hoya basically wrote Garcia off as unstable and unreliable. Garcia fired back, calling Oscar washed up and irrelevant. So when the Golden Boy himself walks into Ryan's gym with cameras rolling, that's not just a friendly visit. That's either a genuine reconciliation or the most calculated PR move we've seen all year. Sources close to the camp say De La Hoya was genuinely impressed with what he saw, but here's the kicker. He's also been talking to Barrios' team about potentially signing him if he wins the fight.
How are you? What's up, champ?
What's up, man? How you doing?
You good? Looking good, man. Thank you. Sharp, huh? Yeah.
Here's where the story takes a completely insane turn that nobody saw coming. Garcia's former trainer Joe Goosen, the guy who helped shape Ryan's technique and was supposed to be in his corner for this massive title shot, is now working with Mario Barrios. Let me repeat that because it sounds like something out of a boxing soap opera. The trainer who knows every single one of Garcia's weaknesses, every habit he has in the ring, every defensive flaw they worked on fixing, is now sitting in the opposite corner sharing all that intel with Ryan's opponent. Garcia called Goosen a traitor at the press conference, and honestly, he's not wrong. This isn't just switching sides. This is taking years of intimate knowledge about a fighter's style and literally handing it to his enemy. Goosen claims it's just business, that he took the Barrios job because it was an opportunity to work with a world champion. But come on. The timing is suspicious as hell, and the boxing world is split on whether this is professional betrayal or just the harsh reality of the sport.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Y aquí.
Okay, let's do it, boy. Yeah. 3, 4, 5. Y ahora, va. After. 3, 4, 5.
And get this, the trainer drama gets even messier when you realize this is part of a much bigger pattern that has legendary trainer Robert Garcia seriously concerned. Ryan has now burned through 3 elite-level trainers in the past 2 years. We're talking about Eddie Reynoso, who trains Canelo Alvarez; Freddie Roach, who guided Manny Pacquiao to greatness; Joe Goosen, who's developed multiple world champions. These aren't amateur coaches or yes men. These are Hall of Fame-level trainers who demand discipline, structure, and complete commitment from their fighters. And Ryan couldn't stick with any of them. Robert Garcia went on record saying this instability is a massive red flag, that elite trainers don't bend their standards for anyone, no matter how talented. If you can't follow their program, if you can't accept their leadership, you're not going to reach your potential. Now Ryan's training with his father Henry, which sounds heartwarming until you realize his dad has never trained a world champion and is going up against Abel Sanchez, one of the most respected trainers in the sport, who's in Barrios' corner.
Born and raised, man.
And Chula Vista, baby.
Chula Vista, boy. You've been hitting this since you were a baby, huh?
Not this exact one, but similar. He used to the shot.
Oh, wow.
And he used to
I got calluses
he used to keep
everywhere,
his head like here.
Yeah, I was right here. I was always right here.
And they say, don't do that. And you just keep doing it.
I never listened.
Alright,
I knew what I was doing.
But here's what's absolutely mind-blowing about this whole situation. Max Kellerman and Robert Garcia broke down the real problem on live television, and it's not what you think. The issue isn't that Ryan can't find good trainers. The issue is that he's never allowed any trainer to actually be in control. Think about it, when you hire Eddie Reynoso, you're not just getting technique tips. You're getting the system that made Canelo the pound-for-pound king. That means strict diet protocols, specific training schedules, mental preparation routines that have been perfected over decades. But if Ryan's picking and choosing what parts of the program he wants to follow, if he's showing up late or skipping sessions or ignoring game plans, then what's the point of having an elite trainer at all? Kellerman compared it to the NFL. You don't see Tom Brady telling Bill Belichick how to run practice. Champions submit to proven systems. And if Garcia can't do that, all the natural talent in the world won't save him against a disciplined, well-prepared champion like Barrios, who's been working with the same team for years.
A lot of talkers out there. They're going to talk. You're going to teach out world champion by acting. Line 19. Line 19. The truth is coming. Downhill.
Now listen to this part, because Mikey Garcia just dropped some serious truth bombs about his distant relative's mindset going into this fight. Mikey says Ryan's mental state is literally the only thing that matters on February 21st. Not his hand speed, not his power, not his reach advantage, his focus. Because when Mikey looks at the tape, he sees a fighter who has all the physical tools to dominate Barrios. The speed to make him miss, the power to hurt him, the boxing IQ to outmaneuver him. But he also sees a fighter who's been his own worst enemy for the past 3 years. The loss to Gervonta Davis wasn't about skill, it was about mental preparation and game plan execution. Ryan got caught up in the moment, deviated from the strategy, and paid the price. If that version of Garcia shows up against Barrios, this fight's over before it starts. But if the focused, disciplined version that we're seeing glimpses of in training shows up, Mikey thinks Ryan stops Barrios inside 8 rounds. Here's the kicker that has everyone in boxing talking. Jeff Mayweather, Floyd's uncle and a respected trainer in his own right, just called out Garcia for what might be the most elaborate mind game in recent boxing history. Remember how Ryan acted before the Devin Haney fight? Posting videos of himself partying, claiming he wasn't training seriously, acting like the whole thing was a joke. Then he showed up and dominated Haney so badly that people are still arguing about whether those knockdowns were legit. Mayweather thinks Ryan was playing psychological warfare the entire time, making everyone think he was unprepared while secretly putting in the work. But here's the problem with that strategy: it worked too well. Now boxing insiders genuinely question whether Garcia takes the sport seriously. Promoters are hesitant to invest in him. Networks worry about his reliability. He fooled everyone so completely that it's actually hurting his career. And the worst part, some people think he's doing it again with the Barrios fight, which means we have no idea what version of Ryan Garcia is actually going to show up.
Today we're going to be cooking tortellini with chicken. We're going to be having some carbs in this meal and some protein. It all depends on where we are in the camp, how much weight we are away from our fight weight, where it will determine on what kind of meals we will be having to make sure that we have as much energy and to make sure that we are meeting the weight. We're ahead of schedule. We have about 2 weeks left. From here on out, we're on cruise control. He's super consistent with his training. He's allowed to eat this meal right. There you go, man.
Feeling great. Gio's cooking is really good. super good.
Here's a little snack. This is to get all the sweet cravings. It's a healthy version. Rice cake, almond butter, and some chocolate.
But wait, it gets worse. Trainer Greg Hackett, who's worked with multiple world champions, just went on record saying this fight is completely unpredictable because Garcia's preparation has been all over the place. One day he looks like the most focused fighter in the gym, putting in championship-level work that would impress any trainer. The next day he's distracted, going through the motions, looking like his mind is somewhere else entirely. Hackett says he's never seen anything like it, a fighter with elite-level talent who seems to turn his focus on and off like a light switch. The scary part is that against lesser opposition, Garcia's natural ability can overcome inconsistent preparation. But Barrios isn't lesser opposition. He's a world champion who's been in wars with top welterweights. He's bigger, stronger, and more experienced than anyone Ryan's faced at this weight class. If Garcia has an off night, if his focus isn't locked in from round one, Barrios has the skills and power to capitalize on every mistake.
You're royalty. You feel like you're a top dog. You're the king. And I think that's what everybody's shooting for, to be that king over everybody. King over the opponents, king over the division, king over... You want to be the king, just like LeBron James. He's King James. He's king of the court. I want to be king of...
And here's what makes this whole situation even more intense. Mario Barrios is basically daring Garcia to bring his best version to the fight. In a recent interview, Barrios said he's happy to hear that Ryan claims he's focused and in peak condition, because when they step in that ring, there won't be any excuses. Just two warriors competing at the highest level, but read between the lines of what Barrios is really saying. He's confident that even the best version of Ryan Garcia isn't good enough to beat him. He's been studying tape of Garcia's best performances, the Haney fight, the Luke Campbell knockdowns, the Javier Fortuna destruction, and he still believes his size, experience, and ring IQ will be the difference. Barrios has been a world champion for years. He's defended his title against legitimate contenders. He's been in deep waters and found ways to win. Garcia, for all his talent, has exactly one elite-level victory on his resume, and it came with an asterisk because he missed weight and tested positive for a banned substance.
Look at my lips. Oh, he already know. This is about to be a, oh, it's gonna be bad, because I know all that. I know what he's training like, I know everything. You know, they could say, like, oh, he knows, but he didn't train with me long enough. I know, been knowing Joe since I was 17. I know exactly, and I haven't trained with him. I just watched him, so I know exactly how he trains his fighter, exactly what they're doing. So to me, it was like, oh, thank God you gave me an advantage. Like, it's just another advantage for me. And, you know, word leaks, things leak, you know. Joe was a part of that. I don't want to get too into it, but, you know.
You think Joe was leaking stuff out of
I don't know. I didn't say that. Allegedly. I don't know. I have no clue.
Mario, A lot of trainers in boxing. Why'd you go with the one that used to train Ryan Garcia?
I mean, it was like, I'm in like a position with these next couple years. I want to do as much as I can with boxing.
Here's what nobody's talking about, but everyone should be paying attention to. This fight represents Garcia's last realistic shot at elite-level boxing for the foreseeable future. Think about it. He's 26 years old, which should be prime years for a boxer, but his reputation in the sport is completely shot. The missed weight against Haney, the positive drug test, the trainer drama, the social media antics, all of it has created a perception that he's unreliable and unprofessional. If he loses to Barrios, especially if he loses badly, what major promoter is going to invest in him? What network is going to put him in main events? What elite fighters are going to see him as a credible threat worth fighting? The welterweight division is stacked with killers Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, Jaron Ennis, Virgil Ortiz. None of those guys need Ryan Garcia on their resume, but a loss to Barrios would make Garcia completely irrelevant to their title pursuits. This isn't just about winning a belt. This is about saving his entire career from complete collapse.
Not just Joe. This man calls the Avengers. I call him the traitor. They got Wally, you got Justin Fortune, even though he was one time. We're not too, mad at him. But we do got some gifts for them. Everybody's probably wondering why I'm wearing the backpack.
Do I have to?
Oh, this one's for Wally, man. We'll save that. We'll save Joe's first.
Trainer, right?
Okay, yeah. Right. The program.
I hope.
The trainer. Joe. There you go. Wally somewhere.
So there you have it. Ryan Garcia's training footage looks incredible, but the real story is everything happening outside the gym. The trainer betrayal, the mental focus questions, the career-defining pressure, and a champion in Barrios who's confident he can expose all of Garcia's weaknesses on February 21st. This isn't just a boxing match anymore. This is about whether talent without discipline can overcome experience with preparation. And honestly, I think we're about to find out if Ryan Garcia is the real deal or just another cautionary tale about wasted potential. So here's my question for you, drop it in the comments. Do you think Garcia's natural ability is enough to overcome all the chaos surrounding this fight? Or is Barrios about to end the King Rai hype train permanently? If this breakdown helped you understand what's really at stake, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell because February 21st is going to be absolutely insane. I'll see you in the next one.
Heated press conference after all. First thoughts, what do you make of, obviously, the heated press conference that, you got a t-shirt from Ryan, and obviously he said some things.
Well, I didn't accept the t-shirt, so I didn't get anything from Ryan.
Were you surprised that he came, from that direction? Were you surprised at how he handled the situation, knowing that you guys spent, a couple of camps together?
I don't know. I really don't know what the hell he's talking about, to tell you the truth, but that's all right. I mean, I don't want to spend time trying to figure it out. I thought I explained myself at the dais as best I could. But, I don't know what's going through another man's head about me.
But before you make that decision, let me tell you about the financial pressure that's driving this entire circus, because the numbers behind this fight are absolutely staggering. Ryan guaranteed purse for the Barrios fight is reportedly $8 million, which sounds massive until you realize what he's potentially leaving on the table. Industry insiders are saying that a Garcia victory sets up a potential super fight with Garcia Davis, a rematch that could generate $50 million in revenue. We're talking about pay-per-view numbers that could hit 800,000 buys, streaming deals worth millions, and sponsorship opportunities that dwarf anything Garcia has seen before. But here's the kicker. None of that happens if he loses to Barrios. Tank Davis has already said publicly that he has no interest in fighting Garcia again unless Dian proves he's elite level, and a loss to Barrios basically kills that mega fight forever.
On stage that a fighter has told you that?
Told me what?
Where he said he was disappointed that you were training the opponent.
That he was disappointed with?
You training his opponent.
Yeah. No, that's the first time I've heard that. Yeah.
Does it hurt?
What?
Does it hurt you, like as a trainer, as a man?
Look, I've known Ryan since he's been a kid. You know.
That's why I hurt him so much, don't you think? We took it personal. He said the long rides. He was talking about the amateur days.
I know. Look, I've got a heart, okay? I understand, but you know, it's like I say, I really don't even like talking about it because, you know, it seems like it's very personal and.
The pressure gets even more intense when you look at what Golden Boy Promotions has invested in rebuilding Garcia's image after the Haney disaster. They've spent millions on this comeback campaign, training camp costs, promotional events, social media marketing, paying for the best sparring partners money can buy. Oscar Garcia's La Hoya basically bet the company's reputation on Superfight being able to deliver when it matters most. If Gervonta loses this fight, it's not just his career that takes a hit. It's the entire promotional company that believed in him when nobody else would. Garcia La Hoya has been burned before by fighters who had all the talent but couldn't handle the pressure of championship-level boxing. Remember when he promoted fighters like Ryan Vargas and Shane Mosley? Incredible talent, but inconsistent when the lights were brightest. The difference is those guys at least had multiple chances to prove themselves. Garcia might not get another opportunity like this one.
21st in Las Vegas at T-Mobile Arena, billed as the ring. High stakes. Roberts, what's your thought on that matchup?
Look, it's a good matchup for Ryan. I think Ryan has the skills, the power, the speed to actually go and become champion. But there's a few things that I see that might not be in his favor. And look, Barrios is dedicated. I know him. He's actually a good friend, a good person. And they chose him because they think Ryan has everything it takes to become champion, to become the world heavyweight champion. Because they're already planning on huge fights with Devin Haney and whatever out there for Ryan. But the fact that Ryan, you know, has gone through 3 top trainers that would have done a great job: Eddie Reynoso, Joe Goosen, and Derek James.
Correct.
And he's not training with neither of them. He's training with his dad, which I'm not saying the dad is not, you know, the dad brought him through the amateurs, but when he left his dad or went to seek a different trainer.
And here's something that's been flying under the radar, but could completely change how this fight plays out. Mario Barrios has been working with a sports psychologist for the past 6 months specifically to prepare for the mental warfare that comes with fighting Ryan Garcia. Think about that for a second. Barrios and his team know that Garcia's biggest weapon isn't his left hook or his hand speed. It's his ability to get inside opponents' heads with trash talk, social media posts, and psychological games that make fighters abandon their game plans. But Barrios isn't falling for it. He's been studying tape of how Garcia broke down Luke Campbell mentally before destroying him physically. He's watched how Ryan used pre-fight mind games to make Javier Fortuna fight emotionally instead of technically. The sports psychologist has been running Barrios through scenarios where Garcia tries every trick in the book: the stare-downs, the verbal jabs, the attempts to make him angry. If Garcia can't get Barrios rattled mentally, he loses one of his most effective weapons before the first bell even rings.
Big Baby Miller pointed it out, because there's no structure. And hopefully that'll happen with Zuffa Boxing, and I am a part of Zuffa Boxing, full disclosure. You know, the first fight coming up on the 23rd.
Oh, congrats, man.
But you need some kind of.
On that card,
there
so
you go.
Good.
You need some kind of.
Right?
So the undercard has not been announced yet, but yeah, we could talk about
what names, but yeah,
But we need some kind of structure. In the NFL, the guy has to sit there for the media interview. He shows up on time. Yep. He's got to do it. Yep. And to give you an NFL analogy, think about the Broncos, right? When they had Russell Wilson over there and he had his own office and everything, and it was nothing. It was dysfunctional. Then they hired Sean Payton.
Cut it out.
As a coach, that's like going to train with Goosen or going to train with a world-class trainer, right? And you knew as soon as Sean Payton.
But here's where things get really interesting from a technical standpoint, and this is something that hardcore boxing fans need to understand. Abel Sanchez, Barrios' trainer, has completely rebuilt Mario's fighting style over the past 18 months specifically to counter southpaw speedsters like Garcia. We're not talking about minor adjustments. This is a complete systematic overhaul of how Barrios approaches fights against left-handed opponents. Sanchez has been drilling Barrios on cutting off ring angles that southpaws typically use to create distance. They've worked on specific combinations that target the body and slow down hand speed over time. Most importantly, they've developed a pressure fighting system that forces southpaws to fight going backwards, which historically has been Garcia's biggest weakness. Remember the Gervonta Davis fight. Tank didn't beat Ryan with superior boxing skills. He beat him by applying constant forward pressure that made Garcia uncomfortable and eventually led to the knockout. Sanchez has watched that tape probably 1,000 times, and he's convinced that the blueprint to beating Garcia is already there.
Mario Barrios versus Ryan Garcia. Who you got in that fight?
Oh man. You know what? It's a difficult decision because it depends on what Ryan shows up. If the explosive, fast, and strong Ryan shows up, he's got a really good chance.
He's got it. He's a champion.
However, if
Barrios got the belt.
Mario Barrios uses his experience, which he has, and we see the Ryan that fought Rolly, for example, then Barrios would win.
Okay, so
it kind of falls on Ryan, which Ryan shows up to fight.
If Ryan's on his game, you got Ryan?
I got Ryan.
Hey, you're a class act. Good luck on the. Hopefully, I think you're going to get into the International Hall of Fame.
Now here's something that's going to blow your mind about the sparring that's been happening in both camps. Garcia has been bringing in elite-level southpaw sparring partners, guys who can mimic Barrios' size and pressure fighting style. But according to sources who have been in the gym, Ryan has been struggling with bigger, stronger opponents who can walk through his punches and keep coming forward. There have been multiple sparring sessions where Garcia looked frustrated and off balance against fighters who were applying the same kind of pressure that Barrios specializes in. His team has been trying to keep these details quiet, but word gets around in boxing gyms. Meanwhile, Barrios has been sparring with multiple southpaw speedsters, including some guys who are actually faster than Garcia. The difference is that Barrios has been dominating these sessions, systematically breaking down quick southpaws with body work and ring cutting that looks almost effortless. If the sparring reports are accurate, Barrios might be more prepared for Garcia's style than Garcia is for Barrios' pressure.
I'm just being honest, he should not be fighting for a world title. And he's just coming off a loss. But the reality is what I said before. Social media is the reason why. Because Mario Barrios, even though he's a champion, he needs Ryan Garcia to get a big payday.
What do you think is the biggest weakness that Ryan still hasn't fixed yet?
I don't know. I mean, I think that, I don't know if it's his ability to fight. I don't think there's nothing wrong there. I think it's mental. It's his mental because every time you don't know if he's playing or if he's, actually really going through something. So, I mean, I would say mental.
And let's talk about something that could completely change this fight, the weight cut situation that nobody's addressing directly. Garcia struggled to make weight against Haney, coming in overweight and having to forfeit part of his purse. Now he's moving up to welterweight, which should make the cut easier. But here's the problem. He's been adding muscle mass to compete with bigger welterweights, and cutting weight while maintaining that muscle is incredibly difficult. If Garcia comes in drained from a difficult weight cut, all the speed and power in the world won't matter against a naturally bigger fighter like Barrios, who's comfortable at 147 pounds. On the flip side, if Garcia comes in too heavy and loses his speed advantage, he's basically playing right into Barrios' hands. The champion has been the same weight for years. He knows exactly how his body responds at 147. He knows his optimal training weight, and he knows how to peak on fight night. Garcia is still figuring out how to be effective at welterweight, and that inexperience could be devastating against someone as experienced as Barrios.
In Barrios.
February 21st, we have Ryan Garcia and Barrios. I mean, I'm getting a lot of mixed emotions with a lot of different people talking about this fight. Who do you think wins it? And speaking of the welterweight division, there's a lot of the younger guys coming up. You got the Tiger Johnsons that need to start getting these fights, the Polancos that need to get these fights. So we need the new breed to start getting the big stages as well with some good competition. But yeah.
I mean, I think Ryan and Barrios is actually a good fight because when have we seen Ryan in the ring with somebody his height? You know what I'm saying? So I think we looking at a real boxing match. Could he overwhelm Barrios? Yeah, but where is he mentally? Ryan Garcia has been spending time with YouTubers and streamers and shit like that. He ain't really been training. So what type of Ryan are we getting? I mean, are we gonna get the front runner Ryan who go in there and try his best for 2-3 rounds and then bull for the rest of the fight?
But here's what makes this fight absolutely fascinating from a stylistic perspective. Both fighters have shown the ability to adapt and evolve during fights, but in completely different ways. Garcia is at his best when he can use his speed to create opportunities for his power shots. He's opportunistic, waiting for the perfect moment to land fight-changing punches. Barrios is more systematic, gradually breaking down opponents with consistent pressure and body work until they can't maintain their early pace. It's basically a chess match between explosive moments and sustained pressure. The question is whether Garcia can land his big shots before Barrios' pressure takes away his speed and timing. Historically, when speedsters fight pressure fighters, the early rounds usually favor speed while the later rounds favor pressure. If this fight goes past round 8, Barrios becomes a massive favorite just based on his conditioning and fighting style.
Well, I mean, just going into this fight, I know Ryan, he is, like I said, he is a dangerous opponent, and I think, he said it best himself, right? You never know what Ryan Garcia that you're gonna get. But him and his team, they're promising that he's focused, that he's training hard and he's the sharpest he's ever looked and all this stuff. And that's why I said, I hope so, right? Because I know everything that I'm doing, I know the type of performance that I'm looking to have. And I wouldn't want like a victory for me, to be sold short because he's like, oh, I wasn't focused or this or that, like, oh, like he was streaming or he was doing this,
drinking at the bar.
yeah, doing whatever.
Here's something that veteran boxing analyst Paulie Malignaggi pointed out that's absolutely crucial to understanding this fight. Garcia has never been in a fight where he was the smaller, less experienced fighter against a champion who had nothing to lose. Every major fight in Ryan's career, he's been the young, hungry challenger fighting guys who were either past their prime or dealing with their own issues outside the ring. Devin Haney was dealing with promotional problems and weight-cutting issues. Gervonta Davis was coming off a long layoff and legal troubles. Luke Campbell was at the end of his career looking for one last payday. But Barrios is different. He's in his prime. He's been active. He's comfortable being champion, and he's fighting at his optimal weight class. This is the first time Garcia faces an opponent who's better than him on paper in almost every category except pure speed. Malignaggi thinks this reality check could either elevate Garcia to a new level or expose him as someone who's been beating up on flawed opposition his entire career.
Garcia, I think he knows this is his opportunity. This is his golden opportunity because he didn't technically or necessarily deserve this opportunity, but he has everything to gain, but yes, everything to lose as well. Back against the wall, coming off a lost the Tank as well, so this.
And here's the part that has me most excited about February 21st. Both fighters know that the winner of this bout gets fast-tracked into the biggest fights in boxing. The welterweight division is absolutely loaded right now, with Terrence Crawford holding unified titles, Errol Spence looking for redemption after his loss to Crawford, and young killers like Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz climbing the rankings. A Garcia victory doesn't just give him a world title, it puts him in line for $100 million super fights against any of those champions. But a Barrios victory does the same thing for him, potentially setting up massive unification bouts that could define his legacy. Neither fighter is just fighting for today, they're fighting for the next 5 years of their careers and generational wealth that comes with being elite at welterweight. That kind of pressure either creates diamonds or breaks fighters completely. And we're about to find out which category both Garcia and Barrios fall into when everything is on the line.